In this video, we are going to learn about negative numbers. Now, I'm pretty sure that you would have encountered this term negative numbers before. Or maybe you would have seen some numbers like -10, -200, or -1000. I'm very sure you would have encountered some numbers like this. Now, this is a number and associated with it is a minus sign. A number associated with it is a minus sign. A number associated with it is a minus sign. So you would have surely seen these numbers, such numbers, but you would have never paid too much attention on this, that what actually it is. And that's what we are going to discuss in this video lecture. These three numbers that are, have minus sign with them, associated with them, are nothing else but are negative numbers. Let's say that the weather department of your city or whatever tells you that today's temperature is 3 degrees Celsius. After a few days, like the winter is arriving, and the weather department tells that today's temperature is actually 0 degrees Celsius. Now, as winter is arriving and the temperature is going down and down and down, it's getting colder, and one day the temperature of your city is, say, -10 degrees Celsius. This is the temperature that has been recorded by weather department on any particular day of your winter season. Now, you would be thinking that what exactly this -10 degrees Celsius is. Actually, this is 10 degrees Celsius. It is 10 degrees Celsius below 0 degrees Celsius, that your temperature has dipped down 10 degrees Celsius below 0 degrees Celsius. It has gone to -10 degrees Celsius. So this is one of the use of negative numbers. Like, there are several uses, and this is one of the uses that tells that you can tell that your temperature has dipped down below 0 degrees Celsius by 10 degrees Celsius, and therefore you have -10 degrees Celsius. So this is a negative number, where we are representing a certain value, a certain measure of something, or certain number, which shows that by how many values or by how many numbers it is below 0 number. Let's say that you go to a store, and in store you purchase item A, item B, and item C. Now, item A costs rupees 300. This item B costs rupees 500. The price of this item C is rupees, say, 200. Okay. Now, you go to the shopkeeper, and this is the time when you have to pay. So the shopkeeper tells you that, okay, you have to pay rupees 1000, because if you add these numbers, then this is coming as rupees 1000. You check your wallet and you find that in your wallet you have only rupees 800. Now you are worried, and you tell the shopkeeper that, hey, I seriously need all these three items. I cannot afford to miss any single of them, and I have to get all these three. Can I pay you later? You make the shopkeeper a request that, can I pay the remaining amount later? So the shopkeeper is familiar to you, he knows you very well. So the shopkeeper tells you that, hey, that's absolutely fine. So the shopkeeper opens the account copy where he or she writes all the dues. So your name is Mr. X, and you are short of rupees 200. So the shopkeeper writes here, Mr. X, rupees 200, and shopkeeper tells you that, hey, you have to pay this amount whenever you come to, next time to purchase anything from the shop or store. But later Mr. X thinks that, hey, though I have mentioned in my account copy that Mr. X has to pay rupees 200, but there are chances that I can forget, or I can get confused that whether this amount has to be paid by Mr. X to me, or whether I have to pay this amount to Mr. X. So in order to avoid any kind of confusion, or in order to avoid any kind of mistake that shopkeeper can make in the future, when you return back to the shop or store, your shopkeeper puts a minus sign here, and this minus sign will remind the shopkeeper that it's actually you who has to pay this amount to the shopkeeper, and it's not the shopkeeper that has to pay this amount to Mr. X, that's you. Okay, so this is another use of telling how a negative number tells you that how can you use it, the concept of negative numbers. Let us see one more example. Let us discuss one more example where we can show that how can we use negative numbers. So let's say that you are a shopkeeper of your store, and you have items, say A, you have item B, you have item C, you have item D, and you have item E. So at the end of every month, you calculate whether you are in a profit or in a loss for that particular month. And what you do is, if while selling any item of these 5 items, if you are making a profit, then, like, suppose you sold this item A and you made a profit of rupees, say 100. Okay, you sold this item B, and you made the profit for this particular month, let's say rupees 500. Okay, so you made the profit by selling this item A, you made the profit by selling this item B, but due to some reasons, when you sold out this item C, because of maybe of any reason, okay, and you are making actually a loss by selling this item, you're not making a profit, you are actually making a loss. So you make a loss of rupees, let's say only 50, by selling this item C. But you have to calculate profit and loss at the end of the month, and it's rupees 50. So you would think that, hey, it's actually a profit, but in reality you are making a loss. So to avoid any confusion, you put minus sign here, that, hey, this minus sign will remind you that you actually made some loss by selling this item C. Again, you sold this item D, and even in this item D, by selling this item D, you are making a loss of rupees 100, say, for that particular month. So even to avoid any confusion at the end of the month while calculating profit or loss, you'll put minus sign here, that is minus rupees 100, and this will tell you that whether you made the profit or the loss. Since it has a minus sign here, therefore it will remind you that you actually made the loss. Okay, so this is another way to tell that how can we use this concept of negative numbers. It actually tells you that by how many value or by how many numbers it's actually below the number 0. It's below the number 0 by how many values. Like here it's rupees 50, so you are actually below 0 by this value, that rupees 50. You are in this much loss by selling this item C. So these were some of the examples where we can see how we use the concept of negative numbers, and the main thing will remain the same, doesn't matter wherever you apply this, that this minus sign actually reminds you, it tells you, it explains to you that by how many number or by how many value you are actually below this number 0. If you are in profit rupees 100, that it means that you are above by this number 100, above 0. But since you are below by minus 50, it means you have value of 50 less than 0.